Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope all of you are very well today. Before I start to the presentation, let me introduce myself and my group. My name is Kartika Puspadewi and here is my friend. There are Anissa Trisuprabhawati, Ahmad Farchan Mudofar, and the last is Abdul Gofur. We are from Group 7. We'll bring the discussion from Chapter 7 is about providing for effective teaching. The focus of this chapter is how quality teaching can be achieved and maintained in a language program. Consequence of how well teachers teach and work environments that can facilitate good teaching. The following issues will be considered in these chapters are: first, institutional factors; second, teacher factors; third, teaching factors; fourth, learner factors. The first factor that will be discussed is institutional factors. In institutional factors, it discusses three things. First is the organizational culture, the second is quality indicators in an institution, and the last is the teaching context. The organizational culture of a school refers to the ethos and environment that exists within a school, the kinds of communication and decision making that take place, and the management and staffing structure they support. In Reveal School's organization culture, there are some questions about it. 1. What are the school's goals and missions? 2. What is the school's management style? 3. What shared values do staff have? 4. What are the decision-making characteristics of the school? 5. What roles do teachers perform? 6. How are teaching and other work planned and monitored? 7. What provision is made for staff development? 8. How are course and curriculum planned? 9. How receptive is the school to change and innovation? 10. How open are communication channels? Basic to the organizational culture of an institution is its management structure, because its organizational design is built by managerial decisions that delineate the number and type of jobs in the organization and the processes that subordinate, control, and link them, such as authority relationships, communication networks, and specific planning and organizational techniques. Davidson and Tesh describe two types of organizational structure that are commonly found in school and other kinds of organizations. The mechanistic model is a bureaucratic approach to organizing collective activities that stresses the need for authority, hierarchies of control, and an explicit chain of command. Davidson and Tesh suggest that many language programs reflect this organizational model and cite the following examples. 1. Many programs value specialization, that is, they prefer that teachers specialize in one or two particular levels and skills. For example, a teacher may be assigned Level 3 reading and Level 3 writing, teaching those classes and only those classes each term, and becoming an expert in those areas. 2. Many programs provide teachers not only with a course curriculum, but also with a class syllabus outlining which facts and exercises are to be covered each day. The more detailed the syllabus, the more uniformity there will be across each level in the program. Administrators in large programs, in programs that make use of graduate teaching assistants, or in multiple set programs may find this advantageous because it eliminates uncertainty in teaching performance resulting from individual differences, professional inexperience, and or the absence of propinquity. 3. Some programs have explicit chains of command. All communication in such program is vertical. If moving upward, the communication must pass through its superior in the chain of command until it reaches the appropriate level. If moving downward, it must pass through its subordinate in like manner. 4. Many programs have hiring, promotion, and dismissal policies that match those of the mechanistic model. They hire based on professional qualifications such as degree, field, length, and type of professional experience, and letters of recommendation. They promote based on seniority, program contributions, and professional achievements, and they terminate only after due process has occurred. The organic model by Davidson and Tesh. This model maximizes flexibility and adaptability, encourages complete confidence and trust between superior, and subordinate taps a wide range of human motivation to achieve organizational goals. Aspects of the organic model are also found in many language programs. Davidson and Tesh cite the following examples. 1. Numerous program administrators' flexibility and adaptability level, skill, or content area. 2. Many language programs provide opportunities for professional training that build up the value and worth of each faculty and staff member. They provide release time for material development. They encourage research, publication, and grant proposal writing. 3. Numerous programs allow for communication not only vertically, but also laterally through cooperative teaching, peer coaching, and observation, and joint piloting of new materials. 4. A large number of programs value teamwork and have established a commit system so that decision making and control functions are shared widely throughout the program. David and Tesh suggest that most language programs have features of both the organic and the mechanistic models, depending on the size of the program and the type of staff working in it. Quality indicators in an institution. Language teaching institutions vary greatly in terms of how they view their educational mission. Some schools, hopefully the majority, are committed to providing quality educational service. They have a clearly articulated mission. They take seriously the development of a sound curriculum and set of programs, hire the best available teachers, and provide instruction and the kinds of support teachers need to achieve their best. The following characteristics are indicators of the quality of a school or educational institution by Morris. 1. There are clearly stated educational goals. 2. There is a well-planned, balanced, and organized program that meets the needs of its students. 3. Systematic and identifiable processes exist for determining educational needs in the school and placing them in order of priority. 4. There is a commitment to learning and an expectation that students will do well. 5. There is a high degree of staff involvement in developing goals and making decisions. 6. There is a motivated and cohesive teaching force with good team spirit. 7. Administrators are concerned with the teachers' professional development and are able to make the best use of their skills and experience. 8. The school's programs are regularly reviewed and progress toward their goals is evaluated. Not all schools embrace a philosophy of quality. However, some may be viewed by their owners a little more than business opportunities. Money spent on hiring qualified teachers and providing for teachers' training and ongoing professional development is limited or non-existent. An educational mission has not been developed, nor has a plan to achieve it. Teachers may be poorly motivated, poorly qualified, and on poor employment terms. Staff turnover is high and the reputation of the institute low. Maintaining educational quality within a business environment is a challenge for many private language schools. It is increasingly the case that education is a business and the challenge is to meet educational objectives and standards while at the same time meeting financial imperatives, whether it be cost recovery or profit making. Being sound educationally and sound financially are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Key dimensions of quality and how quality can become a focus in a school or language program. One is a sense of missions. It should be a useful format for articulating a school's sense of missions in the form of a mission statement. Statement developed collectively by those who have a commitment to the success of the institutions.
Next is a strategic plan. A strategic plan is a description of the long-term vision and goals of an institution and the means it undertaken for fulfilling them. They are useful overview of the function of strategic planning. The first is vision, something hope to accomplish in the future. Values is number 2, principle of guiding the program. Number 3, purpose, the reason of the institution existence. Next, mission, description of vision in terms of specific goal to achieve. And the 5 goals, specific steps relate to each aspect of mission. And the last, strategies, method, and activities to attain the goals. Quality assurance mechanism. Quality assurance refers to system a school has in place to ensure the quality of its practice. Factors relevant to creating a culture of quality assurance in an institution. The first, formulate policy, reasonable and acceptable standard, system to assess quality regularly, reward system to attain high quality in their work, and last, available support to improve staff quality their teaching or materials. A sound curriculum. A sound curriculum is reflected in the following features of a school program. The first, the course meeting student needs. A coherent curriculum to achieve the school mission. Develop course based on sound education principle. Develop course description. High quality teaching material and tests. Mechanism to monitor the quality of teaching and learning. And last, review and renewal curriculum. Flexible organizational framework. We note early that effective school and language programs are characterized by administrators who are open to change, flexible, and who encourage teachers to innovate. There is an atmosphere of trust and support, and staff are supported by reasonable teaching loads, reward, and opportunity for professional development. The management style is participatory rather than top-down, based taller. Good internal communication. Good internal communication depends on setting up systems that facilitate communication among teacher and between teacher and administrator, such as include the first, regular meeting and briefing. Secondly, access to administrative leader to accept the teacher suggestion, shared decision making, availability of relevant course, written guidance for staff, a system for collecting feedback, a system for staff support and getting constructive comment, regular evaluation or feedback session, a regular newsletter, bulletin, or email communication, and the last, all staff to get to know another and develop collegial relation and friendship. Professional treatment of teacher. Language teacher often suffer from poor employment conditions. They are not always recognized as trained professionals with specialist skill and knowledge. Leung and Tistel says point out that the status of ESL teacher in mainstream education in many parts of the world is problematic and one of the major obstacles teachers face. The extent to which teachers are regarded as professional is indicated by the following: employment term and condition. Do teachers have a written contract that clearly lays out their roles and responsibilities? Are they given full-time contract or employed simply on a casual basis with few or no benefits? A program that is staffed entirely by teachers on casual terms cannot hope to attract the same level of commitment as one staffed by teachers on long-term contracts. Support and reward system. What support is available to help teachers carry out their varying roles, and what rewards are given for quality service? But factors are likely to influence teacher morale. Do teachers speak positively of their school and or institute? And are they proud to work there? Or they feel undervalued and exploited? Opportunities for teacher development. Teachers need to develop long-term career goals and expect their role and responsibilities over time if they are to continue to find teaching rewarding. A quality institution provides opportunity for teachers to develop their career. ESL or EFL is a rapidly changing field, and teachers need regular opportunities to update their professional knowledge and skills. Such opportunity might be provided for in a number of ways. Next is conference participant. A teacher can learn about trends, issues, and practice with other teachers. Workshop in service seminar can offer workshop and seminar on topic of interest to the staff. Reading groups, article or book of interest read and discuss. Peer observation. Teacher can take turn observing each other classes for critical reflection and discussion about teaching approach. Writing about teaching. Teacher can keep a reflective diary and share it. Next, about project work. Teacher can given the opportunity to develop projects such as classroom material, videos, and teaching source. And the last, action research. Teaching can conduct small-scale classroom research on their teaching. The extent to which an institution provides such opportunity for its teacher or encourage them to participate in such activity is a good indicator of how it views its teachers. The teaching context. The last set of factors that affect the quality of teaching in a program relate to the institution context in which teacher work. Size and structure. The size of a school and its administrative structure influence many aspects of the teacher work. In the former case, the teachers are likely to be a closely knit team whose members know each other well. In the latter case, teachers might work more independently and might not feel that their individual contribution is crucial to the success of the program. In this case, the school will need to ask what can be done to enable teachers to get know one another and to develop a sense of collegiality. Options available include information professional activities such as brown bag lunch, as well as social activity. The administration will also need to develop mechanisms for communication with such a large group of teachers. Equipment. Schools are very greatly in the amount they have interest in equipment and technology. Some schools make extensive investment in such things as computer, cassette, and CD player, video recorder, overhead transparency machine, and photocopies, recognizing that these are essential tools for teacher and can have a positive effect on teaching, staff workload, and morale. Where such investment is lacking, there may be a negative impact on teacher workload. Support staff. Is there any secretarial or administrative staff to help with typing, timetabling, and administration?
Next is teacher workspace. One way of determining how seriously a school regards its teachers and the work they do is the workspace it provides for its teachers. Is there a staff room for teachers where they can interact with colleagues, carry out lesson preparations, mark assignments, and prepare teaching material and handouts? And teacher resource room. Teachers need access to a good range of current ESL textbooks, resource books, materials, and magazines located in a resource room or similar facility in order to update their professional knowledge and get new ideas to feed into their teaching. And the next is teaching facilities. Where does teaching take place and how adequate are teaching facilities? In addition to classrooms, is there a multimedia lab or computer lab, language lab, self-assessment center, and student reading room? What impact do these facilities have on the quality of their program? And the last is class size. What is the size of classes? Current wisdom suggests that class size should not exceed 15 for most language classes. Though in many contexts, teachers have to work with much larger groups. Sometimes class size is outside the control of language providers. The teachers. Many things can be done to create a context for good teaching, but it is teachers themselves who ultimately determine the success of a program. Good teachers can often compensate for deficiencies in the curriculum, the materials, or the resources they make use of in their teaching. Skills and qualifications, according to Lorty, indicate that a profession is characterized by 1. Homogeneous consensual knowledge base or particular knowledge in some specific field. 2. Restricted entry, a degree or certificate. 3. High social status. 4. Self-regulations. And 5. Legal right to govern daily work affairs. Increasingly, language schools are recruiting better trained and better qualified language teachers and operating within defined standards of quality. Core components of teacher knowledge include the following: 1. Practical knowledge, 2. Content knowledge, 3. Contextual knowledge, 4. Pedagogical knowledge, 5. Personal knowledge, and 6. Reflective knowledge.
Teachers are untrained or trained, and whether they are novice or experienced. The useless certificate in language teaching to adults focus on 6 areas of basic teaching skills: language awareness, learners, teachers, and the teaching or learning context, planning for effective teaching of adult English learners, classroom management and teaching skill, resources and materials for teaching, professional development. Roberts, 1998, 67 until 68, suggests that compared to experienced teachers, novice teachers tend to have the following characteristics. Novice teachers' perceptions of classroom events are relatively undiscriminating and simpler than those of experienced teachers, less able to select when planning a lesson, like everything which related to teach, organize, plan the course, and so on. Lack knowledge of what to expect of pupils, what challenges to set, like practical classroom management, concerning with control on pupil learning. Lack an established pedagogic content knowledge, like the practical experience from which to construct personal meanings for theoretical spatial terms, like a coherent system of concepts with which to think about teaching, like specialized vocabulary with which to analyze and discuss teaching. Opportunity to develop the skills: observation of experienced teacher, observation of training videos, short theory courses, practice teaching under the supervision of experienced teachers, working with mentor teacher. NNS teachers needs proposed by Roberts, 1998-97. A priority for language improvement, an erosion through classroom discourse, the support from a textbook, personal experience for learners' difficulty, the same common culture and group norms, teaching behavior from mother tongue culture, the influence of English on education. The function of institution for teachers. As teachers develop experience in teaching,
The institution needs to create an environment in which teachers can further develop their teaching skills and subject matter knowledge, deepen their understanding of teaching and themselves as teachers, and have the opportunity for further professional development. Teachers now need to be given opportunities to do the following: develop teaching skills or deepen understanding of teaching, engage in self-reflection and evaluation, identify their areas of strength and weakness, develop specialized knowledge and skills, curiosity and interest, expand knowledge base about research, theory, and issues in teaching, take on new roles and responsibilities such as supervisor, mentor teacher, teacher researcher, or material writer, involvement in professional organization. Support for teachers. If teachers are expected to teach well and to develop their teaching skills and knowledge over time, they need ongoing support. This may take a number of forms. The orientation. New teachers need a careful orientation to teaching assignment in order to clarify the goals of the program, teaching approaches, resources, problems to anticipate, and solutions. Adequate materials. Teachers need to be involved in the choice of materials, and guidelines may be needed on the role of materials in the program. Course guides. Course guides should be provided for each course offered in the program with information on the course, aims and objectives, recommended materials and methods, suggest learning activities and procedures for assessment. Division of responsibilities. If a senior teacher's responsibilities include writing progress reports on other teachers' performance, training may be needed in how to prepare useful reports. Creating job descriptions for different responsibilities can also establish clear lines of demarcation and responsibility, which are important in strengthening staff morale. Further training. Teachers in an institution may not always have the particular knowledge and skills a program needs, so it may be important to select staff specialist training to meet these needs. Teaching release. If teachers are expected to play a key role in some aspect of the program, such as material development or mentoring, they may need to be given release time from teaching to enable them to devote time this. Mentors. The role of a mentor is to give teachers, particularly less experienced teachers, someone with whom they can sound off ideas, share problems, and get advice. Feedback. Feedback can be face-to-face, in writing, or on the telephone, depending on the kind of feedback it is. Rewards. Teachers who perform well should receive acknowledgement for good service. Helplines. Teachers should know exactly whom to turn to for help in solving different kinds of problems. Review. Time should be allocated for regular review of the program, problem solving, and critical reflection. These activities help solve practical problems and also develop a sense of collegiality among staff. The teaching process. In the teaching process, there are three processes: teaching model and principles, maintaining good teaching, evaluating teaching. Teaching model principles. Robert, 1998-103, compares to teaching models implicit in many language programs, the operative model and problem-solving model. Number 1. Operative model. In an operative model, the teacher is restricted to meeting the requirements of a centralized system, such as the delivery of a textbook as planned to a set time scale. Such a limited role, limited to that of curriculum transmission, implies training objectives based on mastery of a set competencies determined by the centralized syllabus. In the case of the problem solver model, a decentralized curriculum gives teachers greater autonomy in making educational decisions. A diversified language curriculum, characterized by adaptation to learners' needs, requires teachers to be able to diagnose problems and adapt materials and design original learning activities. In language teaching program, teaching models are often based on particular method or approaches. For example, the communicative approach. The focus of teaching is authentic communication. Extensive use is made of pair and group activities that involve negotiation of meaning and information sharing. Fluency is a priority. The cooperative learning model. Students work in cooperative learning situations and are encouraged to work together on common tasks and to coordinate their efforts to complete tasks. Reward systems are group-oriented rather than individually oriented. The process approach. In writing class, students take part in activities that develop their understanding of writing as a process. Different stages in the writing process: planning, generating ideas, drafting, reviewing, revising, editing, form the focus of teaching. The whole language approach. Language is taught as a whole and not through its separate component. Students are taught to read and write naturally with a focus on real communication, authentic text, and reading and writing for pleasure. The teaching models in a program may be based on principles: a consistent focus on learning English, practical tasks that relate to real-world use of English, realistic and communicative uses of language, cooperative activities, balance between accuracy and fluency. The teacher serves as role of facilitator rather than presenter. Communicative and skill, learning awareness, self-monitoring, and setting goals. At the same time, teachers should have the opportunity to teach in ways that reflect their own preferred teaching styles. Teachers teach in different ways. Even though two teachers work toward identical goals, they may choose different ways of getting there. Teachers bring to teaching their own personal beliefs and principles, and this helps to account for how they interpret their role in the classroom as well as differences in the way they teach. Teachers' principles are a product of their experience, their training, and their beliefs. Examples of teachers' principles set by Prin are: selectively focus on the form of the language, selectively focus on vocabulary or meaning, enable the learners to use the language, address learners' mental processing capacities, make the new language familiar and manageable, make the learners internalize and remember the new language, take account of learners' affective involvement, directly address learners' needs or interests, monitor learner progress and provide feedback, facilitate learners' responsibility or autonomy, manage the lesson and the group. In any group of teachers, there are some principles that are shared as well as some that are held by individual teachers. As teachers, plan lesson and teach. They draw on teaching philosophy as well as their personal principles to help them shape and guide their teaching.
Maintaining good teaching. Quality teaching cannot simply be assumed to happen. It results from an effective, ongoing effort on the part of teachers and administrators to ensure that good teaching practices are being maintained. The following are strategies that address this issue. The first is monitoring. Information needs to be collected regularly on all aspects of the program to find out how teachers are teaching the course, what is working well or proving difficult, and what issues teachers need to resolve. Monitoring can take place through formal and informal mechanisms such as group meetings, written reports, classroom visits, and student evaluations. Second, observation. Regular observation of teachers by other teachers or supervisors can provide positive feedback on teaching as well as help identify areas that might need attention. Observation might, but need not, involve evaluation. Peer observation can also be used to enable teachers to share approaches and teaching strategies. Or while observing a college, a teacher can collect information the college is interested in obtaining. This might include information on how students complete a learning activity or the type and frequency of questions the teachers use. Teachers can also make use of self-observation through audio or video recording their lessons and reviewing the recording to see what it tells them about their teaching. Third, identification and resolution of problems. Timely identification of problems in a program is essential to ensure that small problems do not develop into bigger ones. Good communication system can help ensure that problems are brought to the attention of teacher or supervisors for timely resolution. Fourth, shared planning. One way to avoid this is to building in opportunities for collaborative planning, as when teachers work together in pairs or group on course planning, material development, and lesson planning. During the process of planning, potential problems can often be identified and resolved. 5. Documentation and sharing of good practice. A great deal of excellent teaching goes on in the school, but much of it is known only to individual teachers or supervisors. Teachers should be encouraged to report on their positive teaching experiences. Davidson and Tesh, 1997, give the following example. 1. The teacher has given a presentation at the professional conference and can adapt the presentation for an in-service. 2. The teacher has attended a professional conference or workshop and can share what was learned. 3. The teacher has read a current publication in the field and can tell college about it. 4. The teacher has a practical teaching strategy to share. 5. The teacher has developed audio, video, or written material relevant to the language program curriculum and can provide a demonstration. 6. The teacher has used the textbook on the book list for the coming semester and can share ideas about what works and what does not work. 7. The teacher would like to lead a discussion concerning a particular curricular or program issues. 6. Self-study of the program. Self-study involves a study of program practice and values as a part of the process of self-evaluation and review. It is part of the process of demonstrating a commitment to quality and to long-term goals and professional development. A self-study should be undertaken every 3 to 5 years and involves teachers, administrators, and students in a process of examining all aspects of a school operation. Kels 1998. Evaluating teaching. An appraisal system might have several different purposes: to reward teacher for good performance, to help identify needs to further training, to reinforce the need for continuous staff development, to help improve teaching, to provide the basis for contract renewal and promotion, to demonstrate an interest in teachers' performance and development. The focus of appraisal. Although appraisal usually involves observation of a teacher teaching one or more classes, the focus of appraisal might include a number of RG aspects of a teacher's work, such as lesson plans, teacher-made classroom materials, course outlines and handouts, class assignments, participation in profession development activities. Conducting the appraisal. A teaching appraisal might be carried out by the supervisor, a college, the teacher himself or herself, or students. Appraisal by a supervisor. Supervisors often assume the role of appraiser. Though many teachers find they prefer appraisal to be carried by someone other than a supervisor. In order to provide some consistency to appraisals, checklists are often used. See Appendix 4. Appraisal by a college. Peer appraisal is generally less threatening for a teacher than appraisal by a college and might result in more constructive feedback. Self-appraisal. Teachers themselves are often in a good position to assess their own teaching, and self-appraisal is perhaps the less threatening form of teacher assessment. Self-appraisal might take a variety of forms. Lesson reports. The teachers might use structured descriptions of a lesson with an evaluation of each component. See Appendix 6 for an example of a self-evaluation form. Teaching journal. The teacher might keep a regular journal about his or her class and describe and reflect a different aspect of planning and teaching the course. Audio or video recording. The teacher might record a number of lessons of his or her class or arrange to have someone else record them. Review the recordings and comment on the strength or weakness of the lesson. Student appraisal. Students are in a good position to assess the effectiveness of teaching, although the extent to which they are able to do so depend on the type of feedback instrument they are given. The learning process. Learning is not a mirror image of teaching. The extent to which teaching achieves its goal will also depend on how successfully learners have been considered in the planning and delivery process. The following factor might affect how successfully a course is received by learners. Understanding of the course. It is important to ensure that the learners understand the goal of the course. Plainly, 1984 states, when learners and teachers meet for the first time, they may bring with them different expectations concerning not only the learning process in general, but also concerning what will be learned in a particular course and how it will be learned. The possibility exists, therefore, for misunderstanding to arise. It is accordingly of vital importance that, from the beginning of the course, mechanisms for consultation are set up in order to ensure that the parties involved in the teaching learning process are aware of each other's expectation. If learners are to become active participants in decision making regarding their own learning, then it is essential that they know the teacher's position and that they to be able to state their own. Teachers, conversely, need to canvass learners' expectation and be able to interpret their statement of need. View of learning. Learners entered a course with their own views of teaching and learning, and these might not be identical to those of their teachers. Alcorso and Calantry's findings, teachers and learners have different preferences. Course might assume a variety of different learners' roles, such as manager of his or her own learning, independent learner, needs analysis, collaborator and term number, peer tutor. Learning styles. Learners' learning style may be an important factor in the success of teaching and might not necessarily reflect those that teachers recommend. In a study of the learning style of adult ESL students, Willing, 1985, Sid in Noonan, 1988, found four different learners types in the population he studied. First, concrete learners. These learners preferred learning by games, picture, films, and video, taking in pairs, learning through the use of cassettes, and going on excursions. Second, analytical learners. These learners like study grammar, study English book, studying alone, finding their own mistakes, having problem to work on, learning through reading newspapers. Third, communicative learners. This group like to learn by observing and listening to native speakers, talking to friends in English, watching TV in English, using English in shops, and so on. Learning English words by hearing them and learning by conversation. Fourth, auditory-oriented learners. The students like to teacher to explain everything, writing everything in notebook, having their own textbook, learning to read, studying grammar, and learning English words by saying them. 5. A questionnaire on preferred learning style, classroom activities, and approaches can be used to identify learners' learning style preference. Motivation. It is also important to find out what the learner's motivation are for taking the course. Why are the learners in the course? How will it affect their lives? What do they want from it? Which aspect of they are they most interested in? And the support mechanism provided for learners are other components of course delivery. These include the kind of feedback learners will get about their learning and opportunities that are provided for faster or slower learners. Self-access components might be provided to allow learners to address specific learning needs and interests. Well, thank you for your kind attention to join the presentation. May all those we have shared be beneficial for all of us. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.